Thank you, Mr. President. I'll continue to listen to the debate on this, but here is my general concern, as it was in the past. We have a limited amount of scholarship funds available to students in the state of Connecticut. We have a small population of people who are undocumented and are finding many challenges to afford education. Those are two very clear things that we all understand. At the same time, we have citizens of the United States who can't afford to go to college and are struggling to afford dramatic increases in rising costs of higher education, which I hope the University of Connecticut's going to fix. But having said that, my even greater concern is that at the end of several years in school, the student will have a degree that other students and taxpayers of Connecticut have helped to pay for, and we have no assurance in any way, shape, or form that the student has moved along in the process of permanent residency, work paper, and citizenship. And that's really what we should be talking about. That process should be etched in stone in this legislation, so that if we're going to go down the road of carving out additional qualifications for this limited fund, let's make sure that everyone that comes out at the other side with a scholarship-funded degree from a public university in Connecticut is able to go to work. And that's the problem. Because what I'm seeing is we have this benefit which is so limited, and we're going to have a student come out of school and not legally be able to work. That's the real problem. Forget about the cost of education. Why don't we go back and see to it that we help them achieve that goal? And if we can't do it before they start, let's make sure that we help them do that before they finish. And I don't have any assurance whatsoever that that's the case. I heard the esteemed co-chair of the Higher Education Committee talk about a numerous number of people who gave testimony at the public hearing on this bill and said they worked 3 jobs to pay the full cost of tuition and going to school and working at the same time. Well, we're talking about an undocumented student, undocumented alien, according to the Immigration Service. That means they can't work legally. So you've got someone working illegally, 3 different jobs, and struggling to stay in school. Now, I understand that's a big challenge. It's a very big challenge. But we're not following the rules there either. Are we? There's no payroll tax because they're under the table because they can't work legally. I mean, we're just breaking rule after rule after rule. Why don't we go back to square one, figure out the right way to get the student on the path to citizenship? That's what we should be talking about. That's what we ought to be doing. And if we're concerned about an executive order that is likely to be withdrawn on day one of a new administration, then that tells me that that executive order probably is what's been argued in the Supreme Court recently, which is the whole issue about, can the President of the United States just change immigration law? No, you can't. That's charged to the Congress of the United States. So I don't want to belabor the point, but I'm frustrated once again with legislation in this building that Senator Kaine so eloquently said earlier on this topic, that we have incremental legislation in the Connecticut Capitol. Sort of the nose under the tent routine. And we got this little piece to help somebody, and it was a good idea. I was uncomfortable with it, but it was the law of the land, and I frankly, going along with it, everything seemed okay, but it's not enough. And we keep just digging away at it. But we're not fixing the core problem that we should be going out of our way to help these people on a path to citizenship. Now, maybe the problem is that can't happen. I don't know. I'm not an immigration expert, but they tell me there is a path. So why doesn't the legislature quit doing all this other stuff and promising money that we don't even have? Every single Department of State government is short of money, and we're just handing out more money that we don't have. Why don't we go to the core of the problem? So I'm a no today, but I hope that this legislature will stop what Senator Kaine calls incremental legislating. What a novel idea that would be. But more importantly, in this case, that we really go and help the real problem underlying why these folks are asking for our help today. Thank you, Madam President.